It is the stress of suppressing our true nature that reduces our immune system and allows for predispositions and for diseases to express themselves, manifest themselves, and become chronic issues. So what's the solution to that? Well, it's for us to learn how to live as who we truly are. It's the only thing, it's the only way I believe that true healing will occur. Hey, beautiful, how are you? I want to talk about the strong connection between being an HSP, a highly sensitive person, and chronic illness. Ever since I discovered the world of HSP and that I had my whole world blown open with this knowledge and this new information, and that it changed my life and allowed me to reframe and look at my entire life through a different lens, I have also been pondering this idea of the connection between living with chronic illness and being a highly sensitive person. For me, I've had both. So I've been an HSP my whole life, of course. And also at the age of 11, I started having ulcerative colitis. Even though at 28, I had surgery, my large intestine was removed, so technically I don't have ulcerative colitis anymore. I still have an autoimmune body, which comes with this whole string of conditions and challenges, and living without a large intestine, which is a whole other thing. But the point is, I have chronic illness, and I am an HSP, and I have been feeling like there is a connection. So in my mind, not everybody with chronic illness is an HSP, but my sense is that a lot of HSPs have chronic illness. And why is that? Here is what I've come up with. Also, since thinking about this, I've found other people like Gabor Mate talking about this. And it's that as HSPs, we grow up being told that we can't trust our feelings, that we can't show up as our true selves because it is not acceptable, it is outside the norms, and it will get us rejected and bullied and make us feel unloved. So what we learned through this is to suppress our real selves, suppress our true emotions, and that creates an immense stress on our bodies. And as we know, science has now connected the dots very strongly that stress suppresses the immune system. So because of this deep suppression of who we truly are, we put our bodies through heavy stress, which suppresses our immune system and allows for predispositions of illnesses and diseases to have a favorable terrain where they can express themselves and stay and become part of our lives. Are you a highly sensitive person living with chronic illness? You have friends that live with chronic illness. Why don't you subscribe to my channel and share it with somebody that you think it could help? Because as you're doing this for someone else, you will also be helping me, and I would greatly appreciate it. So please take the time to subscribe, write me a little comment. I love hearing from you. Tell me what you feel, if you have an opinion about HSP and chronic illness and the connection, and share a video with somebody that you care about. And that brings up like a personal anecdote that I want to share about this that supports this idea. My sister also at some point in her life was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, one of my sisters. And the interesting thing is that she is not an HSP. And for her, medication or herbal medicine, whenever she's had a small flare-up, it takes care of it. It is not something that took over her life, became a chronic illness issue and chronic disease, and that just became something that was part of her life or took her to the brink of death, like me. And that is the difference, I believe, and the reason why HSPs have more chronic illness. It is the stress of suppressing our true nature that reduces our immune system and allows for predispositions and for diseases to express themselves, manifest themselves, and become chronic issues. This is the book that got me started to understand what is a HSP, and it has changed my life. So I'm going to put the Amazon link in the description below. Go ahead, use it, and get this for yourself or for somebody you love who you know could benefit. So what's the solution to that? Well, it's for us to learn how to live as who we truly are. It's the only thing, it's the only way I believe that true healing will occur. I know that in my case, I've been working like 45 years now, doing all the modalities, natural, medical, energetic, diet-wise, whatever I can find, to try to heal my autoimmune body and my digestive system. And I still think that as I am beginning to live as who I truly am, accepting and embracing who I am with my highly sensitive nature and everything else that I'm learning about, I believe that my healing is ahead of me and that it will occur. I think that our healing comes more from an inner peace of living as who we are than for any physiological, medical, dietary, supplement, herbal, whatever other modality we can try to heal ourselves. Maybe we can have some level of success, but I really believe that our healing will come from living as who we truly are. So I encourage you and me to continue on our journey of healing, but with a mind to focus more on living as ourselves, more than looking outside of us into ways that we think can heal our physical body. I had a feeling when I was sick when I was 18, 19, and I was very sick, and my thoughts were, even back then, which was a long, long time ago, I was thinking what I wish I could do was go in a monastery for 6 months, and I think that would heal me. Back then, there were no retreats, and that was not something that was part of, not in my family or my environment, surroundings anyway. And it was just not even something to talk about, or wouldn't even have known where to go, how to do it, or how to get my parents to support this. But I had this intuition, and I think that it was right on the money. Our healing will come from the healing of our soul, of our being, of living as who we are. This is where we have to focus. So whatever you are dealing with as a HSP and chronic illness, look into ways to accepting yourself. And keep in mind that the stress of not living as who you truly are is suppressing your immune system. This is what we do to ourselves when we try to fit in the world by denigrating a part of who we are, or when we create an identity that is not our true self, but an identity that can be accepted or that we think will be more loved in the world. And the stress of that brings down our immune system. And so much more challenges and difficulties will come in our lives because of that. So let's keep that in mind, my highly sensitive, beautiful family. We have a lot of gifts that come with being an HSP. I'm going to keep talking about those, but there are challenges and there are things that we can do, and this is one of them. Let's continue our journey to love ourselves, embrace who we are, bring it on, bring it to the world, and live as who we are. Beautiful souls, beautiful beings. Stick around. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks. Bye. I love you.